Welcome back to Not Girls with Lorren and Bri. We are on episode 5.
Episode 5.
Fiver. I got 5 on it.
I will say, when we first started this podcast, we were very nervous, very scared. But the feedback that we have gotten from this podcast is just
amazing,
mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I knew there was a need for a podcast like this. I didn't realize there was that big of a need, especially with the people we are close to.
Oh, yeah.
Or that we have personal relationships with.
Mm-hmm.
I have people that I haven't talked to since college or talked to since high school that are reaching out.
I know,
same. This is so fucking cool. I resonate with everything you guys are saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is cool. This is really cool.
And also, some of my high school friends, they've been like, oh, it's the old Smitty. I miss hearing Smitty. I'm like, yep, I'm back.
Awesome. I love it. All right. So this episode, we are talking about navigating your 20s.
Yeah.
And we've kind of broken up your 20s into 3 different categories. So we have your early 20s, your mid 20s, and your late 20s. So we're just going to kind of go over each of those categories and kind of talk about the quote unquote traditional values of each of those categories.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to preface, and we'll talk about that again at the end. Hi, Alex. We'll talk about this again at the end, but we just want to reiterate that if you aren't following your life in this way, that is okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally okay. This is just kind of the basic things that happen in each category and how either we dealt with it from personal experience or how we foresee dealing with it when that time does come.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I am, according to this chart, we have early 20s is 20 to 23.
Which is me.
Which is Bri. Mid 20s is 24 to 26. Yep. And then late 20s is 27 to 29. So I'm in the late 20s. Bri's in the early 20s. Yeah. We have a good eye on each of those categories to talk about them a little bit. So,
and the 20s are so hard.
It's so weird. When I was typing this out before we started this podcast, I was like, from someone who has experienced all 3 levels, your early 20s is by far the weirdest time in life. It's just so much navigating, so much change, so much going on. I'd say early 20s are weird. Mid 20s, hardest. You really do a lot of self reflection in your mid 20s, and lots of change happens. And then late 20s, I'm just at the beginning of that, but I'm so excited for this time. I feel like this is, I don't really want to say where my life's the excitement starts, because I had a lot of exciting things that happened in my early 20s and mid 20s, but late 20s is just fun.
Yeah.
I think
you got a good head on your shoulders.
I'm excited for it. So
I don't know if I've said this on the podcast or if I just told you separately, but I've seen TikToks on when you turn 21, you're restarting.
Yeah.
And you're basically 1 year old. And then you just restart. And that's so weird to think about.
For sure. It's just, let's see, if you traditionally go to college 4 years, what do you graduate when you're 22?
Yeah.
21, 22? Yeah. I mean, essentially you're starting your life over at that time. You are just kind of thrown out there.
Literally.
Figure it out.
You get a degree. Which doesn't fucking help.
You should know everything.
Yeah.
And it's you don't learn any of that shit. Any of the important stuff that you need to go on with your daily lives, taxes and all of that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm I don't know.
Well, I thought the big jump was going to be high school to college, but that is not the case whatsoever.
At the time in your life, that is a hard jump, because
the teachers are
yeah,
it's going to be so hard. You better act straight and get shit done. I'm
apply yourself.
Yeah.
And you're just I'm getting my shit. I'm going to class, I'm partying, I'm having fun, I'm doing all this stuff. And then it's just when you move away from home, I feel like if you leave your hometown to go to college, leaving home, that's your first big life change. You almost leave a little bit of your identity, where the last 18 years of your life, you have been in this place, rooted in this place, or been around the people that you have known your whole life, and then you just up and leave.
Do you remember that feeling when your parents like left you at college.
It was so weird.
It was weird. Like I remember just sitting there with my roommate being like, so what do we do?
Yes.
Like
it was so
want to go to McDonald's?
Did you know your college roommate?
No. Well, so like we met on Twitter beforehand, and then like I reached out being like, hey, do you want to be my roommate?
Gotcha.
So I wasn't really paired with a random.
Okay.
But we didn't like meet in person.
Yeah. So I went to the girl that I roomed with freshman year of college, I actually went to high school with. And she was a volleyball player for the college that I went to. So she was already there like a week before me because they had like started practices and stuff. So she had like set up our room on her side. And then when I moved to college, Ricky and I obviously went to college together. So Ricky and his parents and then me and my parents all like drove out there together. Yeah. And it was just the strangest things. Like they just unpacked all of my stuff, set up my dorm room. And you're usually like, you start with like that orientation week at college, but then they were just like, all right, bye. Yeah. And I was just like, what?
See ya, Thanksgiving. It's the weirdest feeling.
It's so strange.
But then it's like the best feeling ever because it's like, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Oh my gosh.
I can go take a nap if I want to. Like,
I don't have to leave the house and get the questions like, where are you going? Who are you going to be with? What time will you be home? Like, oh my gosh, shut up.
But then you get that whenever you graduate college.
When you go back home
you have to
for a
go
little
back,
bit. And you're like, I just spent the last 4 years of my life not being asked these questions. Yeah. Don't ask them. Okay.
I lived with my grandma.
Okay.
Right after college.
Was she like very overbearing or?
Sometimes. But I would be like, Mama, like, chill. But she was awesome. I loved every second of it. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so let's jump in to the early 20s, and I'll let you start with this one since this is you right now.
So this is ages 20 to 23. So I'm 23 years old. And so the first kind of topic we're going to hit on is coping with the shift from college to career or independent living, moving away from friends and family. So yeah, I think, well, one, finding out what you want to do after college. Like I wanted to find a job before I graduated because I knew that would stress me out. But then like I've also seen like TikToks of people being like, it's honestly better to sit with yourself after college and figure out exactly what you want to do.
Did you move to Kansas City from Pitt directly after college?
Yes.
Like you graduated and you left and came here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think just the biggest thing was like not having my roommates anymore. Yeah. And then having to move in with my grandma. Yeah. So.
Well, then like all your friend group, there's the potential of your college friend group once you all graduate is like leaving each other. Yeah. Like you just dealt with that in high school 4 years ago. And then in college, you spend the last 4 years with these people and you make memories. You created these new friendships. And then you move away from each other. Yeah. And it's hard. Yeah. It's so hard.
Like some of my friends went to Colorado, California. Like it's been so weird. But then it's like when you get back together, it's like nothing has changed.
That's nice that aspect is still there. But then I feel like everyone has the intention of being like, oh, we'll stay in touch. Like we'll regularly have trips to meet up. And like
that doesn't
life
happen.
Just takes off and that doesn't happen. Yeah. And it sucks.
I feel like especially in your early 20s because you're just so busy with like focusing on your job. Yep. But I feel like maybe in your 30s, I don't know, you kind of get back together with your
I feel like
make it a plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
To plan stuff like with them.
My college best friend, she still lives in our college town. And it's 4 hours away from here, which isn't terrible, but like we never see each other and it fucking sucks. Yeah. But it's just hard because we each have our own lives that we're figuring out and navigating. So
I will say the weirdest feeling ever was in August. Like the year that I graduated, that August, it was so fucking weird because I was like, I need to be going back to school. Right. And like I always felt like, oh, I have homework to do.
I had that feeling.
It is the weirdest feeling ever.
Like I feel like I should be doing homework right now.
I feel like I have a due date. Yeah, like on Sundays, I'm like, what do I have to do?
Yep, for sure. I am kind of the same boat as you. I already had my job planned out before graduating college. So I graduated college. Ricky and I both up and left Hayes and moved to Kansas City because of my nursing job that I got here in Kansas City. So it was just like not only moving to a quote unquote big city, like there was just so much change that happened that we had to get used to very, very quickly. Cost of living was one. I mean, I thought freaking rent was expensive when I was in college. And then you move to Kansas City and you're like, gee, many Christmas. Yeah.
Also, another thing is like the stress that you go through during college to try to get that job.
Yeah.
Like it's freaking stressful going through interviews. And
I went through multiple interviews.
But honestly, like the best advice I kept telling myself is the right one is going to happen for a reason. Like if you really wanted that job and you did a bad interview, like it's because that job wasn't meant for you.
Right.
Like brush it off and keep doing more interviews. Even though it does suck. Interviews suck.
I feel like I struggled with that because up until that moment, I never got turned down from a job because like my high school jobs, they were obviously like, you're hired. And then in college, I had a few different jobs because I paid for myself to go through college while I was there. And they all were such demanding jobs that I was never told no. Yeah. So my first job, nursing job that I applied to, like saying we have went a different route, I was like, what is this? Like I've never experienced like being turned down before. And that was strange. Yeah. That was very strange. I do remember that.
Yeah. All right.
I think another part that we can hit on with this is that awkward friend stage in your early 20s.
Oh, yeah. It's the worst.
It's awful because everyone just starts going their separate ways and they start being in different lifestyles. So you graduate college, you still have friends that party Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they're up all night, they're at the bars. But then you also have friends that just graduated college and now they're getting married and having babies and starting a family and doing all that stuff early, which is totally great. But it's just like when you're here in the middle, you're kind of like trying to figure out what you want to do. You're like
kind of forced to find your true friends too,
100%.
though.
You're like, do I want to keep partying every weekend to keep these friends? If yes, then go for it. But if no, then it's like you have to put yourself first and either cut that friendship off or find other things to do outside of just going out and partying.
And that means like being alone. Like these past years, I've been the most lonely I've ever been. Yeah. But I'm like also so thankful that I'm going through that. And which I mean, like you were taking your whole 20s, but like I just feel like it's so important to be single and like be alone in your 20s.
100%.
Which like granted, Ricky and you guys like are very good about finding yourself, but a lot of the times relationships make you not find yourself.
100%.
And you lose yourself.
You start morphing into the person that you're with.
Yeah.
Especially, and we'll hit on this more, but especially with Ricky and I, like we started dating when we were 14.
Yeah. Like, you were not the same person when you were 14.
All I cared about at 14 was my fucking basketball game on Friday night. Like that's all I cared about when I was that age. And as we got older, we had to learn about each other's lifestyle changes. Like we had to figure ourselves out, let alone how we interacted with each other. There was a lot of things happening in our early 20s time, but not only individually, but also as a couple. And it was hard.
I bet.
Because there are some couples that date throughout high school, go to college together, graduate college, and then realize that they don't have the same life goals or lifestyles, and it's just not going to work.
Yeah. Like, well, that's like me. Like I was in a relationship all during college, and then shit happened and we broke up, and I literally didn't even know myself. Yeah. Like I was like, who the fuck am I?
Who are you without this person?
Yeah. It was so hard. I was like, I don't even know who I am. Yeah. But now I'm like, okay, I'm back.
I'm just very fortunate that Ricky and I's goals aligned with each other. Like if we would have graduated college and I would have been like, okay, I'm ready to start a family right now. Ricky would have been like, yeah, I'm not. It's that simple. Like we just both happen to be on the same path of wanting to wait on that aspect. But that happens. Yeah. There are people that graduate college or don't even go to college and they're just like, all right, I'm 22, I'm ready to have my first kid. Yeah. Or I'm ready to get married. And if that guy is not on the same page as you, you can't force him to be. And so sometimes it is okay to go your separate ways. And as hard as that may be,
you have to go through that.
It's what's best for you. Yeah. And you you have to be selfish in that situation. You have to do what is best for you.
Yeah.
So it's just so hard. I actually lost probably at the time my best college friend.
Yeah.
Like it was a mutual couple, like Ricky and I, and then friends of ours. Mm-hmm. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, dated a long time. And we bonded instantly. Like she had the same birthday. Like I know.
What the fuck, Lorren?
Same birthday. Like we just bonded instantly and we were like inseparable. We lived together.
Yeah.
Like she lived with Ricky and I.
I think friendships are harder breakups than relationships.
To date, one of the hardest things that I've ever went through. Because I remember the day, like, long story short, that couple, they broke up. And so it was kind of like one of those, I don't want to pick sides because I'm very good friends with both of you. And I didn't pick sides. She kind of picked for us.
Yeah.
And I remember the day that I like asked her to come over to my house in college so that we could talk about like, what the fuck is going on? Like we used to be inseparable and now you want nothing to do with me. Like what's going on? And she came over and we sat in my living room at my house at the time. And she swore up and down that things weren't going to change. Like she apologized, like, I'm sorry for being the way I am, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that didn't fix anything. She instantly just went off and...
But like with those situations, because I mean, I went through the same stuff.
Yeah.
And like that breakup hurt so bad. But like now I'm like, okay, maybe it did happen for a reason. And, you know, maybe you are better off. And who knows, in 10 years, you could get back together.
Yeah.
Like my stepmom and her best friend, my stepmom was like, we didn't talk for 10 years, Bri.
Wow.
Like just be patient. Yeah. Like maybe your guys' relationship needs time. And if not, then so be it. You'll have more people, better people coming in your life.
Oh yeah, you have people come in and out of your life so much. I would say in your early and mid-20s, you have people come in and out. And you just have to accept that some friendships are seasonal, and that's completely okay. If you are friends for a few years, have a falling out, go your separate ways, just know that that was what was supposed to happen. And not all friends are lifers.
Yeah. And
that's okay.
Yeah.
Some friendships are seasonal.
Your 20s will make you learn that real quick.
100%. 100%.
It's like, fuck, okay.
And if you've never experienced that, I am jealous.
Yeah.
Because it is.
But I think it makes you stronger as a person.
Completely agree.
And it makes you like a better friend. Like, I was shitty in a lot of friendships in college and stuff. But now I'm like, I'm a really good friend. Yeah. And I support my friends. And
it made me truly understand that if I am putting in all this time and effort in a relationship and that time and effort is not reciprocated to me, then it's not worth my time.
Yeah. You got to step back.
I can't bend over backwards and pull the weight on both ends of a friendship. Like I said in previous episodes, like when I love really fucking hard. Yeah. And if I'm not getting that affection in return, I know now that I can just like, okay, this friendship was not meant to be.
Well, we're the ones getting hurt.
Yep.
So.
Exactly. So.
Okay. Moving on.
Hard. Yes. Okay.
Do we want to go to like the next?
I'm reading through some of these other early 20s. There's like budgeting, saving strategies. And yeah, those are important to start in your early 20s. I think you would be ahead of the ball if you did start those in your early 20s.
I do not know how to do that shit.
Yes, it's hard. Like they say, the whole save back 2% of your, is it 2% or 20% of your paycheck? I can't even remember.
I think it might be 2%. Yeah.
If you're anything, I guess if you're saving anything of your paycheck in your early 20s and putting it aside into savings, like you're already ahead of the ball and you're already setting yourself up for success. Yeah. But if you aren't able to do that, that's totally fine. Yeah. Too. Because for me,
I keep telling myself it'll get better, Bri.
Yes, it'll get better. Everything works out for a reason. It also says managing student loans. I mean, yeah, when you graduate college, you have to start thinking about that, but
they make it so fucking complicated.
Very complicated.
I'm like, I'll fucking pay you. Right. Make it easy and simple and I'll pay you.
It also was kind of weird for me too, because when I graduated college, a few years after graduating, it was COVID. Yeah. And it was stopped. It was like, you don't have to pay him right now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And then it was like, okay, your student loans have been transferred to a different company. And I'm like, what the okay. Like it was, you're right. They make it so complicated. And it's like, if I will give you money, just like make it easy.
Yeah.
Like
just let me know.
Can I just be on a payment plan?
For real.
Like, yeah.
It's bad. Did you have an internship?
No.
In college?
So when it comes to nursing, there are a few hospitals that will do like a, I don't even remember what it's called, where it's like you kind of work, I guess it would kind of be an internship. You kind of work under a nurse for a few months and then you
have a name for that. I don't remember what it's called.
And then you graduate that like program to be, and then you actually work on the floor. Whereas like I just went through like an orientation and then it was.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
I will say internships like are very important.
Was yours a paid internship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely do paid. Fuck those unpaid, especially in today's world.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah. Well, and I'm like, what do you do you expect me to get another job after hours? Like that's so stupid.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked those are still a thing. If they even are a thing, I don't know.
Yeah, they are. But like I will say that is one thing that got me ready for the outside world the most. Yeah. Just dealing with professionals and also learning how to network and so I definitely recommend getting an internship.
Yeah, no, it was difficult for me because like in nursing, you can read as many textbooks and learn go have it as many clinicals.
Clinicals, oh, that's what it's called.
Clinicals is like practice that you have in college, but like you can go through as much of that as you want. You are not gonna learn until you are working. Yeah. Like in the field. 1,000%. That's when you learn the most.
Oh, yeah.
So that was kind of difficult because it was like, I know I just spent 4 years of my life studying for this, but I don't feel like I know anything. Yeah. I feel like that's the majority of people in nursing, but.
Also like making career decisions. I feel like coming out of college, like you want the highest paid job, like all that shit. Don't focus on that. Yeah. Like focus on the culture, focus on like what you're actually doing so you can get experience. Yeah. Like the money thing, that's not important.
Especially because like essentially when you start that first job, that could potentially be what you do for the rest of your life. And if you're 22, 23 and you already hate your life every single day because of your job, you're literally just setting yourself up for failure for the next 30 plus years. Yeah. Like I just could not imagine. I guess I can because I experienced it a little bit in nursing, but like going to work every single day and just being unhappy and hating it and coming home and instantly just being in a bad mood because you had a shitty day at work. Like it's just a revolving door of just negativity and bad.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, if you find a different job 5 months into your new job out of college, it's okay to leave that job. Like, I know people say, oh, it looks bad on your resume, but it's like, no, it really doesn't these days. Like, I've been seeing things, people like change every 6 months now. Yeah. Which,
I feel like that is a little much, but I mean, I remember when I left nursing, like people literally looked at me like I had 3 heads when they were like, what are you doing with your life? And I'm like, look, I know myself and I know that this is not where I'm supposed to be right now. The great thing about nursing is it's a degree and it's a license. You can always go back. I can go back if I want. It's always there. But literally, like people looked at me like I was a fucking idiot when I left. And I was like, I'm not the toll that it took on myself and my relationship and my home life and all of that. I was like, not worth it at the time. So that's another thing. If you feel like you went to college for 4 years, you got your degree, you start working in the real world and you realize, fuck, this is not what I want to do. Yeah. That is okay. Yeah. Do not feel like you wasted 4 years of your life because I wouldn't change anything about my college years. We were just in Montana with some friends and one of my friends asked me, she was like, Lorren, do you ever regret going to college for nursing or do you actually appreciate the knowledge that you took from that? And I'm like, I don't regret it at all.
You still use the knowledge.
Literally. Like
shit happens. We're like, Lorren, nurse, where are you?
Like, I love it when my friends or family like text me and be like, what's this on my foot? Like,
do we need to go to the ER?
Yes. Like, I love that because it gives me that little piece of like helping others that I miss. That's the aspect of it that I miss.
Like purpose.
Yes.
Is that? Yeah.
So like I would not change or take away the experience and knowledge that I learned in nursing school.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative that I have it, but I also wouldn't change my path that I've taken to get to where I am today.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just, in the moment, I felt like my gut literally was telling me it's time to leave. And I left and went through hell for a few years before getting to where I am now.
Yeah.
But again,
it all happened for a reason.
Exactly. So
also never burn bridges.
Yeah.
With old companies that you've worked for.
That's a good point.
Because you never know. You might need to go back for a couple months. Like, and just having those connections with people.
Yeah.
Like I reach out to old.
Networking is huge.
Oh yeah. I reach out to my old jobs all the time and I'm like, I miss you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think that was pretty good for our early 20s.
Yeah.
Next.
It fucking sucks. Early 20s sucks. It's fun though.
Mid-20s.
So ages 24 to 26.
Yes. So this is kind of where you are really starting to like learn about yourself, where you have to start putting yourself first and focus on your personal growth. And you kind of like, I remember I started saying no to things that I didn't want to do or that I didn't agree with or I didn't appreciate. I stopped putting myself through situations that I didn't want to be in. And I stood up for myself. I defended myself and I started saying no. That was like probably the biggest takeaway I have from my mid-20s. I still need to work on it some more and I'm getting better at it. But like I remember the first time when I think it was like we got invited to go somewhere and I really didn't want to be around those people. And I looked at Ricky and I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to go either. And I was like, okay, we're not fucking going.
Yeah.
Like just saying no and standing up for yourself is a huge trait to learn during that time.
I feel like, and if you force yourself, you're just going to be fake around the situation.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to be like, why was I fake that whole fucking time? Yeah,
for sure. When it comes to relationships or friendships, I feel like this is the time where you are you're having those hard conversations. You're figuring out if your lifestyles align or your future goals align.
Yeah.
And then ultimately having to end those if they don't align.
Do you feel like you met people, even I guess in your early 20s too, that like are going to be friends for life?
Yes.
Like, you know, when people come in your 20s and you're like, oh, you're a friend for life. Because a lot of people just think, oh, college friends and high school friends, those are your friends for life. And it's like.
And it's funny because, so I got married at 24. So the very beginning of my mid-20s. Let me count. I no longer talk to 4 of my bridesmaids, and one of them was my sister. So she is a lifer, obviously. But I no longer talk to some of my bridesmaids anymore. Yeah. And same thing for Ricky with his groomsmen. Like you take different paths in life and you move on and you have friendships come and go. And that was really hard because I mean, I look back on all of our wedding photos and I'm like, well, don't talk to that person. Yeah. Don't talk to that person. That person left. Like there's just so much change. But I have had new friendships come in and I have met some of the best people in my entire life in my mid-20s. Yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me was like just blaming myself.
I'm like, what could I have done to fix that or save that friendship? Yeah. You always want to point the finger back at yourself.
But then it's at that point, it's like you got to not forget about your past, but you need to move on from your past.
For sure. Yep. Okay, what else do we got? Oh, establishing healthy habits for yourself.
Yeah.
That is huge. Like that would be with your friendships. Like take a step back and look, is this friendship healthy or not? Is it constant bickering or going back and forth? Like you're hanging out with so-and-so. I don't like that person, blah, blah, blah. That's unhealthy. Being able to take a step back and evaluate your friendships and relationships if they're healthy. This could even go with like family.
Yeah.
Like if you have extremely toxic family members that are trying to turn you against your significant other or you against other people in your family, like that's where you stand up for yourself, and you have to say, just because you're blood, like that doesn't always mean that that's forever. Yeah. And that's okay.
You have to get rid of the toxic in your life.
It's okay to stand up for yourself, and it's okay to take out the dirty laundry.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Even like, did you feel in your mid-20s that you wanted to like actually work on your health?
Yes.
Like, I guess you've always like worked out, but.
So this is kind of funny. I went from being in a sport all year round in high school to graduating and going to college and being like, I don't want to be physical at all. Yeah. Like I just wanted to
I got burnt out.
I wanted to be a fucking couch potato. And I realized really quickly that I can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I worked out a significant amount in my early 20s, but then in my mid 20s, I started realizing like, okay, my hips are getting wider, like my arms are getting bigger, flabbier, and it's like I'm holding on to weight in different areas, and your hormones are like all over the place at that time, and everything is changing. I really started to look at my physical and mental health during that time. Like I was like, do things that I enjoy, eat foods that are nourishing my body, because I remember, I'll be the first to say I could eat cereal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day.
Oh yeah.
Big ass mixing bowl with the biggest spoon I have. Like I love it.
I can just imagine that.
I love it. And I did that in high school, but being in a sport all year round, like I didn't have to fucking worry about that.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, I can have cereal like once, maybe twice a week, and that's okay. But no, I definitely got more of an urge to take care of myself and be more healthy in my mid-20s. And also too, it's like, because I was in sports so much, I do feel like my body has taken a beating for a long time. Like my knees, my hips, my back. I'm like, oh my God. And it's just going to get worse. Yeah. So I was like, I need to make it a priority to make myself the healthiest version of myself now. Yeah. For my future kids, for my future grandkids. Because like I always had active grandparents growing up and parents. Like my parents played sports with me. My grandparents were always up and doing stuff. So I want to do that for my kids. Yeah. And you have to start early with that. But
and also like mental health's huge in your 20s. Oh my God. Like it's so hard to handle. So like it helps, physical activity helps with that.
I have never experienced therapy, but I would love to start therapy.
It's so scary though.
It's
so vulnerable.
You're vulnerable. I want to start therapy so bad. I don't know if I'm scared or if I just don't know where to start or I just haven't made it a priority, but I think it's so important to talk about things. Yeah. And there may be things from your past that are affecting you now that you don't know about. And it's
I don't know if I want to know. That's my thing. I'm like, I don't know if I want to know. Because have you seen the things where it's like therapy can like trigger something and you completely black out something and then you remember and it's like.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like I have kind of not necessarily like covered up, but tried to mask some childhood trauma and like I had to grow up really freaking fast. Probably too fast.
And you had your younger siblings. And,
yes. I had a lot. I grew up very quickly, probably too quick. Yeah. And I was doing things, I would say inappropriate things at young ages that I shouldn't have had to do during that time. So I feel like if that gets stirred up and brought to the surface, it would definitely open up a can of worms. So, but I think it's important. I think if you have any thought or reason to want to talk about your problems, I don't know why therapy has such a bad rep.
Yeah. I mean, I think just people thinking like if you talk to a random person.
I think that's the best thing.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Like sitting down and talking to someone that knows fucking nothing about you. Yeah. They have no opinion. They are literally you're just starting scot-free with someone and being able to just like spill. So yeah, I don't know. I think.
Do you do anything to like get your feelings out? Like I journal a lot.
Journal? That would be fun.
Like I sit down on my couch and just write shit.
I open up like a lot of nights laying in bed. Ricky and I just like talk.
Yeah.
I talk to my sister a lot. I'm really, really close to my sister. I'm really close to my aunts. I have my Aunt Tara. She is probably, I think she might be closer to my age than she is. I don't remember, but she was like 12, 13, 14-ish when I was born. And so she's always been more of like a big sister than an aunt. And I've shared a lot with her, like too much probably. Like she's the one, if I ever like am in trouble or get arrested, like,
oh yeah,
I'm calling Aunt
Tara.
Oh
yeah. It's always the aunts.
Always. And she's wild and fun and just, I feel like I have opened up and talked a lot. She's taken on a lot of my burdens. Like she has been there as the shoulder to cry on when I'm going through family shit or I'm going through any hard times. Like she's kind of my rock in that situation. Yeah. But no, I don't like really express.
I will say journaling's really cool.
Yeah.
Because you can go back and read. And look. Like, cool. It's amazing to see my thoughts from a year ago to now. It's like, geez, Bri, come on. Be better on yourself.
I feel like I need something like that. Yeah. Like, there's been, I feel like when I get quiet and like try to go somewhere deep in my thoughts, I'm either distracted or I get annoyed and I just can't focus on something. So I do feel like I need some sort of way to just release everything.
Like even when I'm pissed the fuck off, I will go in my notes and type everything I'm feeling. I'll be like, oh.
You feel better?
I don't need to send that text. I already got it down. I'm good.
Okay, maybe I need to learn that because I make some very rash decisions.
It's helped my emotions a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I do think that when it comes to managing stress, that is very, very important because bottling up that stress is just going to make you sick and it's going to take a toll on you physically and emotionally.
Well, in mid-20s, you have more stress with your job and friendships and relationships.
I think it's important to find something that relieves stress for you, whether that is going to the gym and working out, going for a walk.
You sound like my mom.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, Bri, you need to find out how you can cope with stress.
Yeah. Like finding something. Just, it could be anything. Anything that you find yourself chilling out, whatever it is. But I think it's very important to learn how to manage your stress. I also was the queen of working myself up so much that I like almost would make myself sick.
Oh yeah.
And Ricky is just like the cool cucumber over there and he's like, it'll all work out, babe. That used to be that used to be the response that I hated the fucking most.
You think men deal with like I've thrown up.
Yeah. Like worked yourself up and thrown up 100%. Yeah, Ricky was
I don't think men deal with that.
Ricky was always like, whatever happens, happens. And I'm like,
shut up.
He would just, and I hate to admit this, but like he always ended up being right. Like it always worked out. Whatever was supposed to happen, happened. Like I can't change what's supposed to happen, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But in that moment, it's just so frustrating because I want an instant answer. I want instant gratification of fixing my stress, taking it away, having something to fix the problem. And that is not always the case. So I was the queen of just stressing out about things I couldn't I had no control of.
Yeah.
Like I finally had to take a step back. I'm way better now. Whereas like if something's stressing me out, I'm just like, I can't fix anything. Like I can't change what's going to happen. I do feel like, and this could be a whole nother topic, what really helped that for me was when I got my hormones fixed.
Oh yeah.
I was one of those that was on birth control for a really, really long time.
Birth control is so fucked.
And my hormones, I didn't know because I never got them tested, but I could just feel it in my gut that like my hormones were way out of whack.
Yeah.
Like I would literally emotional roller coaster all the time. I'd be super mad and then I'd start crying and then I'd want to rip someone's head off and then I'm like super happy and bubbly and I'm just like, am I bipolar?
Yeah.
Like what is going on?
Yeah.
There'd be times where like Ricky would just like
I've asked myself that.
Make a
am
noise.
I bipolar?
He would just like make a noise and I'm like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, I just like, it was something dumb.
Yeah.
And so then when I did, and I also long story short, like my hormones were so messed up that my estrogen was like super, super high. My progesterone and testosterone were like non-existent. And with that high estrogen, I was tired all the time. I had no libido, like no sex drive in my mid-20s, which is like you're supposed to,
yeah.
Like all these symptoms that I had. And when I got my hormones checked and I found that out, I was like, oh.
So can they
fix
that?
Yeah.
Even if you're on birth control?
Yeah. So I had to get my estrogen lowered and my testosterone and progesterone higher to balance it out more.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, like I literally feel night and day different. Like I don't care what that costs. I would do anything in my life to go through those changes. Like how different I felt in that month.
Fuck, I need to make an appointment next week.
How different I felt in that month's time of getting my first round of medication to like fix it. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my, night and day difference.
Crazy.
I'm a completely different person than I was a year ago.
That's insane.
Yeah. Hormones are crazy.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. So dumb.
It's crazy.
Okay, what else we got? Coping strategies. Finding healthy coping strategies. Maybe maybe in your early 20s, your coping strategy was drinking or partying, or going out to the bars.
Smoking weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in your mid-20s, your coping strategies are coloring.
Yeah. Going for a walk.
Something.
Yeah.
Picking up a craft or a hobby of some sort.
Yeah.
Healthy coping strategies to help yourself not lose your mind.
Yeah. I will say, like, in your early 20s, I hate the question, so what are your hobbies?
Yeah.
I'm like, bitch, I don't know. Drinking?
When I would get asked that, it would be like the gym.
I hate
That's
that.
all I do.
I hate that question so much.
Yep. Okay. What else we got for mid-20s?
Losing your health insurance.
Oh, shit. Yeah. That fucking sucked. That sucked so much.
I'm not looking forward to that.
So, and everyone's different in this situation. My specific situation was I was fortunate enough to be able to be on my dad's health insurance until I was 26. Even though Ricky and I were married, I was still able to be on my dad's health insurance.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if all insurance are the same like that, but I was able to still be on his insurance up until 26. And I milked the shit out of that insurance.
I know. I need to be better at
Hit your deductible every single time.
Take
Take advantage of it. But I remember losing that health insurance, and it was like, what happens if I like need to take an ambulance ride and go to the ER?
I know.
Like, that's just instant no health insurance.
Well, I feel like, you have to click your brain to be like, if something happens,
be more cautious.
You have to figure out.
Yep. It's on you.
Like, I'm like, oh, something will happen, I'll be fine.
Yeah. I remember I didn't know what the fuck I was doing when I lost that health insurance. And at the time, MMG or my job did not offer health insurance because we were still such a small startup business.
Yeah.
I remember I literally like Googled,
how do I get health insurance?
How do I get health insurance? And then dummy me, I still am dealing with this shit. I put my fucking phone number in a website for health insurance.
I don't blame you.
And every single day I have multiple phone calls of them trying to sell me health insurance.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you want to think that everyone has your best intentions and wants to give you the best policy and the best plan. No. Fuck no. They just want to make money off you.
Oh yeah.
Like, they literally do not care if they're ripping you off at all.
Speaking of connections, my first job out of college was at a health insurance. So I'm like, I'm good. I'll be set when I turn 26.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, it's just those things that you don't learn. Like, you didn't learn about insurance and how to get insurance when you were in high school.
No one talks
or college.
about that.
Had no idea. It was just like,
that's the shit they need to teach you.
Yeah. Dad was like, all right, this is your last month. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Happy 26. You're on your own now. And I was like, shit. Yeah. And it was like, I want to stay on top of like going to the dentist regularly and like getting your yearly exams as a woman. And it's like, when you lose insurance, that just goes out the window. Granted, there are a lot of situations.
That's so stupid.
If you're in the corporate world, your job most likely is able to take you on their health insurance. That's great. But like, not everyone is in that situation. And you just gotta, a lot of self-teaching and like learning the hard way and trying to figure out what the fuck you're supposed to do. Oh, that sucked. I miss my
it's even
insurance.
Like health insurance, life insurance, what?
Your
home
phone,
insurance,
your phone plan, like
car insurance.
and also I didn't know that like high dollar things that you own should be insured. Like I remember when Ricky proposed, he's like, we're supposed to get insurance on your ring. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know you're supposed to have insurance on high ticket items that you have and then like a lot of insurances can lump together like combined plans of like your home, your auto, your health. I'm like, that was all a complete foreign language to me. Like I didn't know what any of that shit meant. I
hate it. Yeah, I like stop talking about it. I'm scared.
So excited for your mid-20s.
I'm like halfway. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
But one thing that I am excited for my mid-20s is my frontal lobe developing.
Bri is so big on this frontal lobe development. Yes.
People say at 25, you wake up one day and your brain is like clear and you know what you want to do and like you're just more aware of everything. I mean, can't wait for that.
There are people that say that you're not supposed to start smoking weed until you're 25 because that's when your frontal lobe is developed. But
is that going to push me back?
I don't know, but I've heard that. But then I'm like, okay, if that's the case, why isn't legal drinking age 25?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many things, but
you think your frontal lobe's developed?
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell.
I think I would probably agree. It was probably about the age 25 where it clicked in.
Clicked. Oh, shit.
I was like, we're ready.
I can't wait for that day. I will not shut up. I'm going to be like, my frontal lobe's developed. Test me, world. I'll be okay.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, anything else on mid-20s?
Okay, I have a question. What do you think is your favorite age?
I really like now. I really like 27.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people take you more seriously.
Yeah.
Like nothing fucking pisses me off more than people like discrediting you because of your age.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that infuriates me. Like even to the point of, this is a personal experience that I've had. So I always say I have an old soul, especially when it comes to music. Like I love 80s rock music.
Yeah.
80s rock bands, like I got it. Like when I wear band tees and you know that running joke of people are like,
do you even know a song?
I am like waiting for that time to come because I'm just going to fucking lay into them. Like if I have my AC/DC shirt on and people are like, do you even know an AC/DC song? And I'm like, bitch, I know like every fucking album. I'm ready for that. But
yeah, I know.
When it comes to that, like this was an example I had. I was out somewhere for a bachelorette party and I was like on the aux and I was like playing these 80s rock bands and someone was like, were you even alive when this song came out? And I'm like,
shut the fuck up.
I bet I could, let's have a song off because I bet I would win. Like just discrediting you because you are younger. That just infuriates me.
I feel like that's hard with family.
What do you mean?
Like your aunts and uncles being like, shut up, you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like.
Or like it's other girls who are, 2 fucking years older than you. And they're like, you have so much to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're 2 fucking years older than I am.
Yeah.
Get bent. Like that shit pisses me off. Like don't discredit someone because they're so young. Or, I'm going to get hot. Or when you make life decisions that someone doesn't agree with or they think that you're too young for and they say something about it. Like when someone has a baby at 21 and someone is like, you're just so young. And I'm like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. And honestly, it's like those people figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they always figure it out.
Oh my gosh, that just makes me so mad. I don't know if there's a name for that, but just like discrediting someone for their age just
I always think I'm like
fired up.
That's God's plan for them. Like
or like if you were having
a
bad day and you're venting about all the problems that you have and someone is like, Bri, you're only 23.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. I need my issues validated right now. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Late 20s. So this is like 27 to 29-ish. this is kind of roughly the time when you are advancing in your career.
Yep.
You've been working in the real world for 6 to 8 years, and you're kind of like maybe taking on that promotion, or you now have a team under you. You're a part of a leadership team. You're leading the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're pursuing a higher education. Like maybe you decide, I want to go back to school. I want to get my master's or my whatever.
Well, even like hitting that wall where it's like you have to get a higher degree to earn more money.
To level up or anything. Yeah. Or you may just be completely switching industries. Maybe you spent the last 6 to 8 years doing something and you finally took a step back and you're like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
I don't feel like anyone should be like, you shouldn't sacrifice your future for just being okay.
You should always be happy in your job.
I agree.
I couldn't handle that.
No way in hell. Like
I'm such like a positive, happy going person that if something breaks me down, I'm like, nope, I can't do it.
Yep. Buying a home. Ricky and I did just buy our first home, and that's a process I didn't know anything about. Like realizing how much money you have to have down is like insane. I didn't realize it was that important.
Yeah.
So if I have any advice to anyone out there in your if you want to start in your early 20s, that's great. More so mid 20s. If you are looking to own your first home in your late 20s, start saving. Like just have that cushion of your savings account to be able to help you in those situations. I
don't even want to think about it.
I know. It's hard for sure. Planning for long-term financial security. That's another thing where I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But it's just like, I think they say, and I could be wrong on this saying, but they always say you should be in a position where if something happens or you weren't able to have income for 2 to 3 months, you would be okay.
Yeah.
So like if you would have 2 or 3 months worth of your mortgage or your rent payment, your car payment, all your bills, your groceries, have that cushion to be able to go 2 to 3 months if anything were to happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, Ricky and I just kind of dealt with this with Apollo out of nowhere.
Their dog.
Yes, our dog. Out of nowhere, Apollo tore his ACL, and he's a big ass dog. Yeah. And it was a $6,000 surgery. And we were just so fortunate to be in a position that we could manage that. Because like, if that would have happened when we were in college, we couldn't afford that.
No. Like,
it's just insane thinking about those things. And like,
well, it's like if you want kids, like you got to save up for that.
Happen, 100%. Like if your car breaks down and you're just completely without a vehicle, you either have to be able to fix it or go buy a new vehicle.
Yeah.
And you can't just like pull all that out of your ass. Like it's having a little bit of like I
hate money.
I know. I know. And it's just like everything's so fucking expensive nowadays.
Oh my gosh, really it's hard. Stupid. That's what people don't understand too. Like my generation, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like we should not be dealing with the financial, like even buying a house, going to college, like everything's so expensive.
Yeah. It makes me sick. On like when we bought our house, you could go back on Zillow to like see the price of what it was in past years of like what it sold for. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. I do feel like in your late 20s, this is a very important time where you are getting in you're discussing your serious relationships. Like, are you going to get married? Do you not want to get married? Are you going to have kids? Do you not want to have kids? Like, those are all questions that you have to talk to your significant other or with yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I know people, I have a very good friend of mine. She's in her mid 30s and she is like, I don't need a man.
Single, traveling.
I don't need a man.
Yeah.
And then I know other people that are like, we're married, we're happy, but neither of us want kids.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. Like just doing what you want to do and just making sure that if you have a partner and you and your partner are on the same page about those things going forward.
You only have one life.
Yeah.
Make it a good one.
Exactly. I think probably to date, my favorite thing of my entire 20s right now is the fact that Ricky and I both are on the same page about starting a family.
Yeah.
And they say you're never ready for your first one.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that, but it's like the fact that we both are just like ready is like the most attractive thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Like having Ricky say like, I'm ready for you to be a mom and I'm going to be a dad. Like that was just like the best thing. And so whether that happens in your relationship.
We're so opposite.
Whether that happens in your relationship or you have an oops and you just figure it out together, just being on the same page. Because I know of couples that the girl like told her husband or boyfriend that she was still on birth control and she was not on birth control anymore. And yeah, that's just a dirty situation. Like it's unfair. Like to take advantage of someone like that when they're not ready.
Ugh. Yeah, it's so hard.
Yeah. But everyone's different and that is okay.
I'm so happy I'm alone.
I do feel like, so the last part we have on the late 20s is reflecting on your 20s, setting goals for your future and navigating the transition into your 30s. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that dread their 30s and I'm like really excited because
I've heard it's like the best period of your life ever.
Like so far my late 20s are off to a great start. I can't imagine they're gonna not continue the trajectory of being positive as I navigate the last of my 20s. But like I'm excited to turn 30. Like that's just, I don't know. I think it's a milestone that I'm looking forward to, but there may be people out there that are not looking forward to it and that's okay. But the goals that I have for my 30s are obviously going to look a whole lot different than my goals were for my 20s. And even from my 30 to 40, like every decade is different and your goals.
Well, it's like, okay, so your 30s are probably going to be focused on your kids.
Yeah.
40s, it's like, okay, your kids are out of the house. So let's have a good time now. Like, let's focus on our love again.
Yep. Yeah.
I just want my frontal lobe to develop. I just want to get through that stage.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you have any questions about late 20s or anything to add for late 20s?
I think just like marriage. Like I just have no idea about that stuff. I'm scared.
It's kind of strange to think
There's just so much unknown in my life.
Absolutely.
It's just like, that's okay, Bri.
Yeah.
And like trust the process.
Yeah. And the fact that you're not settling for someone I feel like there's a lot of people who get into their mid to late 20s and they haven't found someone yet. And they just jump on the first person that they have. And they're like, I'm marrying this person.
Yep.
And it's like from the outside looking in, it's like, I don't really know if that's going to work. And I feel like comparing yourself to others, the comparison is like the thief of joy. I love that quote because I was guilty of that. I was always comparing myself of like other people my age that were getting married early or having kids early or had a steady job and like drove nice vehicles. Like I was constantly comparing myself to other people and comparison is the biggest thief of joy. Yeah, for sure.
Well, also it's like people my age, like staying in relationships.
Unhealthy relationships.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like get out of those and go live your 20s. Yeah. Because then it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And then you're going to be old and then be like, I have to go date now.
Well, we hit on this on our red flags episode. Like you can't change someone.
No.
So if you are with someone and you already know that your goals are not aligning with their goals, you can't change them to fit the goals that you have. Like there's someone out there for you and that person will come. You just have to...
I think it's like two, like one, I don't want to be alone. Two, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. It's like just rip the Band-Aid off and get it over. Yep. Because then you can start living your life.
Completely agree.
And finding yourself.
Absolutely.
People just lose themselves and then they're like, what do I do?
Yeah. I feel like if any of our listeners out there are listening to this and you feel like you are in a rut at any point in your 20s, or maybe you're not even in your 20s yet. Maybe you're younger than that and you're already dreading something in your 20s. Like reach out to us. Like that is something that I like want to advocate for and like be for other people is I want to help in any way, shape, or form I can. I'm not like educated in any of this, but I have like
we have our own experience,
personal experience, and like I want to help any way I can.
Like we've had people DM us and like we just talk and talk and talk to them, and we're like, let's hang out.
Exactly. I just want to help in any way I can. So if there's anyone out there listening that is struggling with something, or maybe they just want a outside opinion on a situation, send us a message.
Well, you're like me, being so young. Like I look up to you all the time. Like, what should I do?
Yeah.
And you give me advice, and then it's just you got to use your connections.
Yeah.
And don't just bottle it in.
Exactly.
And just shut down.
Yeah. I think to wrap everything up, we really want to hit on, there's the quote unquote traditional way to do things, like get married first, have kids, like the traditional way of living your life.
Yeah.
If you don't do things the traditional way,
that's okay.
That is okay. Like I can't like iterate that enough to let you know that just because you're not doing something traditionally, that is completely okay.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the older generations are very much so like robotic when it comes to doing things traditionally. And somewhere someone has to break the stigma of doing things traditionally.
Yeah.
And make it your own path. Like, this is your life. You need to do things the way that you want to do.
Just be happy.
Yep.
Happy is the best feeling
Happiness
ever.
Above everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ultimately, like, your path is your choice, and what you do with your life, as long as you're happy and your partner's happy and you're taking care of your family, like it doesn't matter.
And it's amazing. Like if you have like a feeling about something that's like toxic in your life and you get it out, it's like, wow.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Like I'm fucking happy, man.
Right? Also, I feel like something that just needs to fucking be said. Everyone that's listening, if you do this or you know of someone that does this, call their asses out. Stop fucking asking people, when are you getting married? When are you having kids? Are you ever going to settle down?
Yeah.
Like, those are none of your fucking business.
No.
Like Ricky and I dealt with that for a long freaking time, like all throughout our mid-20s, sometimes even early 20s.
Yeah.
They're like, when are you guys having kids?
Yep.
And I'm like, let us fucking enjoy marriage for a second. Like, just chill out.
That's how my brother and his fiance are.
Yeah. Are people asking?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but I'm like, yeah, let's have kids. Right. You guys need to have kids.
So my sister was always that way, and I was able to brush that off. But just like people that don't matter anything to me, like, don't ask those questions.
Yeah.
And it's like, also too, with the whole married thing, like Ricky and I we've been together for a really long time, and people were always on him about like, when are you going to propose? When are you going to propose? Yeah. And I'm like, stop, because you guys are making it longer than it should be, because he was like getting stressed and overwhelmed of like constantly being asked and asked and asked. It's just like, stop putting your nose in other people's situations where it doesn't belong.
It's even like, are you going to college?
Yeah.
What are you doing after college? Like, I remember when I graduated from Pitt State, they asked, what are your plans for after college? Which, I mean, that's cool, like, if you do have a job and they announce that. But it's just, like, kind of, like, you felt like shit if you didn't have a plan. It's like, you don't need to feel like shit.
No, not at all.
Like, that's your path.
Exactly.
You're good.
Exactly.
Be patient.
Yep. Okay.
Life, man.
Life. Your 20s, navigating your 20s. It's bitch. But it's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be fun.
Kind of.
There'll be a lot of tears.
Yeah.
But a lot of happiness too. So.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
I don't think so. Just be happy, guys.
I know. Just be happy. It's okay to be selfish. Stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Choose you over everything. Yeah. I think that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
So that is the end of episode 5 of Not Girls with Lorren and Bri. Peace.